Hello, my lovelies. Jenny O here, the author with no last name, and it is October! I thought I could use this month to celebrate the little-known hashtag called Booktober and review some of the traditionally published books I've been reading. Since I've moved, my library is now a 5-minute walk up the street, which is one reason to love a small town, I guess. I've been playing catch-up with fantasy and sci-fi, and my awesome librarians of my tiny library have been really helpful with ordering the books I want and ordering books they think I might like. Shout out to awesome librarians! Also, a shout out to my really amazing library system here in upstate New York, the Finger Lakes Library System, which has so many branches and a really good collection of books. As always, because I'm an author and a development editor myself, my reviews will be my opinions phrased in author terms. Your mileage may vary. In no particular order, let's do it, let's get right to it. Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Princess Amari lived a sheltered life in her father, King Sahar's, palace, unable to express her true feelings about how he treated the diviners whose magic had been taken from them. Once she found out the awful truth, her father had destroyed the magic, she steals the scroll that can bring it back and runs off meeting a rebellious village girl named Zelly, whose white hair marks her as a diviner, or a magi. They must race against time, being pursued by her equally conflicted brother Einan, who is terrified he's a magi himself, to save magic and end the oppression of the diviners. Sounds interesting, right? I did not finish this book. In fact, I skipped to the last couple of chapters and read them before going, okay. To keep me engaged as a reader, you have to have an interesting plot or engaging characters and a unique setting. These prepositions are very important. You can have a very cliche blah plot and I will still read it as long as the characters are engaging and the setting is unique. We failed on all three here. The plot was an adventure journey without the engaging fantastical settings and characters. The world building didn't even feel complete. Oh, they have magic they can't use because we have to save it, and big cats they ride on isn't enough to make it feel fantastical and interesting and keep me turning pages. The magic system was interesting and well thought out, but because we can't use it, it's kind of pointless for this book. And the plot itself, not only is the overall engaging plot rather predictable at places, the small character-to-character plots like Zelly and the Prince, that was also very predictable. This book needs more than just an interesting magic system to work, and more than the theme of we're going to talk about race and class here. And I liked this magic system, and I liked the start of the world building. You can't, making a book about a theme is very difficult to do. Most of the time it doesn't work out well. So the characters were very flat, they're very unsympathetic, they don't have any personal likes, dislikes, and or goals, and I'm not sure who the main protagonist is supposed to be between Amari, Zelly, and Einan. We keep switching chapters of POV to POV. We first meet Zelly, so you think she's the protagonist, and then you switch to a new chapter about Amari, and then you switch to a chapter with Einan. And none of them were really interesting enough as people to keep me wanting to read through their point of views. of the three, Ainan had the most personal conflict, even as he was the most aggravating. And I think Amari comes in as a second choice because she's the one who really kind of kicks off this whole plot by stealing this scroll. And she is, in essence, got the same problem as her brother does by the end of the book. I don't know, Sally felt like this really weird third wheel to me, that they were trying to make important, but because the author thinks she's important, because she is a full-blooded diviner, but I'm not entirely sure if she really is as important as they think they are. This book's second draft was finished in a month for a writing contest. And it does read kind of like a nano write mode project. So it really needed more time in the oven for me. Iron Widow by Zirin and J. Zhao. Wu Zitan's goal was to join the army and kill the Chrysalis pilot Yang Guang, who killed her sister, even if it meant her death, and leaving her childhood best friend and boy who loved her, Gao Yizi. Zutain succeeds in killing Yang Guang and survives, instead of being an Iron Princess, becoming an Iron Widow. Military high command is determined to kill her, and thus pairs her with the criminal pilot Ximin Li. The two become a balanced match, and in order to survive must find a way to fight back before the secrets high command has been keeping from everyone kills them all. I'm going to give this 4 cookies. I liked it. I wasn't, supremely enthusiastic about it, but I did really enjoy it. It's a good premise, but not really as advertised. The TikTok advertisement, it was furries engaged in a DBZ fight, and it's not really furries engaged in a DBZ fight, and I do wish there was more of that. In fact, I wanted more of everything, which is why this is a 4, not a 3. I could have used like 10,000 more words and not minded, because the writing is engaging. There is a good limited point of view with Wu Zitan. I was feeling along with her. I was emotionally engaged with her. I wanted her to win. I was being shown things in the story and not being told for the most part. There was some exposition. You're always going to have a little exposition in there somewhere, but for the most part we were being shown stuff. This manuscript was selected for Pitch Wars, and I think the mentorship that Zhao got really helped. The thing was that keeps this from being a 5 was I kept waiting for the Zutain, the Iron Widow, to actually do something on her own, or to command her own chrysalis. I was waiting for her to take some character agency, and I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and it didn't happen. So I was just like, oh my god. The relationships between the princesses, the 3 perfect princesses who had the balanced relationships with the pilots, were fleshed out enough for me to feel like the ending was earned, or for me to even remember who was who. Thus, I wanted more words. I am not sure about the polyamory angle in the book. The romance was sort of just there. It also needed more words. It needed more words for me to make me believe that Zitan was actually falling in love with Lee and was also still in love with Yeezy, and that, I needed to see more of Yeezy and Lee together to really make me feel like the 3 of them could work as a throuple. Okay? Just more words, please. There's an interesting classic sci-fi twist at the end. if you've read the classic book the twist is based on, you'll know it when you see it. This for me is I am really, really needing to see how the next book plays out. I'm going to take it out from the library, I'm going to read it, and that's going to determine, you know, if I go out and buy both The Iron Widow and the next book, and, you know, we'll be eagerly rating book 3. I believe this is supposed to be a trilogy. So, and if it makes it onto my shelves. And I'm really, really hoping that there is not a sequel slump, because I really, really, really want to put this on my shelves. I mean, I really do. So, we'll see. The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. Okay, this plot was so all over the place and scattered, I'm not even gonna try. I mean, I literally couldn't keep track of it or how it was supposed to work together. So this is obviously a did not finish. Chakraborty said in an interview that I saw referenced on Wiki, she started this as a world building exercise. This book reads like a world building exercise. The characters are really flat. It's a disjointed plot. There's no overall goal or arc to care about, or at least it's not presented in a coherent way, and there is way too much exposition. So if the main character, the first one we meet, the supposed protagonist, gives up on her dream in the first couple of chapters and fights against her new reality with everything she's got, then I don't want to read it. And I don't even know how the other plot that she's presenting with the other character even ties into this female character that she's got. It doesn't make any sort of sense. There was nothing shown for me to believe that she and the Jin character she meets would fall in love. Everything was a lot of exposition, a lot of summaries, a lot of kind of passive tense stuff. I felt like I was reading 2 or maybe 3 books smashed together with no thought given to how they're supposed to intertwine. I think she really liked the plot with the prince better than she liked the plot with the girl and the Jin. So she put a lot more time in the plot with the prince than in the City of Brass itself than the girl and the Jin. So this feels like a huge editing failure on my part. Because the world building isn't even like utilized properly. I don't know how to. I mean, I'm trying to explain it, and I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well. But she spent so much time on the world that she didn't spend enough time on the characters interacting with each other and interacting with the world itself. I wanted to enjoy this. I feel like there is something in here that would have been really neat and really cool and a really good book that deserved the Hugo nomination. There was nothing I could care about. You know, I could not finish it. Like, the end of the book made no sense to the beginning of the book, even, like, I just couldn't do it. I really, really wanted to. So, it just was really sad. Finder by Suzanne Palmer. Fergus Ferguson is a repo man, or as he'd rather call himself, a finder. His latest job to repossess a stolen spaceship, the Venetian Sword, has brought him to a small, out-of-the-way, backwater colony of Sea Me. All he wants to do is slip in, get close to the ship, decode the compromised security to restore the ship's AI, and get out. Then someone decides to explode the cable car he's riding in with a nice grandma he's taken quite a quick liking to. Suddenly, He's in a system on the brink of civil war, his past is coming back to haunt him, and the supposedly mythical aliens and their triangular-shaped ships are distressingly real and interested in him. I'm giving this 4 cookies. Good writing, halfway decent realized plot, good characters, great setting. There is one thing I wanted from this book. Okay? I wanted to know why this mission was so important to the character, because the why shows up like 3/4 of the way through the book, and I was going, this should have been in chapter 1. Because this whole why was not in chapter 1, like he didn't get like this sneaky view of the ship to kind of go, I need to rescue this ship, because there wasn't any tension to this book. I cannot express how much you have to hook the reader with like a personal reason for why this character is doing something, to having stakes in this game right away. Like, just within the first, 5 chapters. It could have shown up in chapter 2, and I would not have minded. I just needed something personal for Fergus Ferguson to sink my teeth in, because otherwise, like, this was a really kind of engaging book, but I was like getting halfway through it, and I was like, I'm feeling a little bored. This is really good writing. These characters are interesting. I really am enjoying the setting, but I'm bored because I don't know why I should care. And then we get 3/4 of the way through the book, and suddenly it's like, oh, here's Fergus Ferguson's personal connection to all of this, and I'm going, I needed to know that. I needed to know that back in chapter 1. Please tell me this back in chapter 1 or 2, and it just, like, so it kind of felt like this was a personal character story, but it was being presented as a plot-oriented story, like it was written to be a New York Times bestseller, and it was just like, that one thing would have made it just so much better. It would have made it a 5-star book. I had just had that one little detail in the beginning. Okay, and also, one more thing. This is kind of an aside, but I do not know why sci-fi writers are obsessed with triangular-shaped ships for, like, weird aliens that we cannot comprehend with our brains, I do not know why. I just don't, but I see it everywhere. I mean, this is something that goes back all the way to Ian McCaffrey's The Death of Sleep series with the Thek. And if they're not triangular, they're square, like the Borg. It is a really confusing thing to me, but I just want to say I don't know what the obsession is, but it's the obsession. So, a really good book. I don't know if I want to pick up the sequel or not. I have a lot of other books on my TBR, so I don't know if I'm going to go pick up the sequel or not and see if she manages on the next finding mission or whatever happens to get that personal conflict right up there in the beginning, so it'll give me some tensions, Is he going to get the ship? Is he going to rescue the AI? Oh my god, I gotta know, gotta keep flipping pages, type of thing. Have you read any of these books? What's your opinion? Sound off in the comments below. If any of these books sound interesting to you, please support your local library, and if it's anything like mine, they'll tell you how much money you're saving. Woot! Also, please try supporting the authors of books you really love by buying their books and leaving them reviews, and most importantly, telling your friends. Happy Booktober! Thanks for listening. Bless, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.